Hey everybody, well, luckily for you, it's all me, it's not true. Today we get to do our annual recognition of outstanding educators in Knox County. This committee is near and dear to my heart, passionate about education, as many of you know. There was a horrible old thing that my father used to say to my mother, the English teacher, was, he said, you know, Carolyn, they say those who can do and those who can't teach. I would say it's just the opposite. Those of us who can teach, the rest of us get a job and they get to live their passion. Some of us are lucky enough to do that as well. And we hear a lot about education. We have really good education in Knox County. Having served on the board for 8 years, Virginia's on the board for 4. Magic happens in our classrooms every day. So if you can ignore all this, today we're going to talk about the real work of education. And it's my honor to introduce you to our 2 outstanding teachers. And I'm not going to do it. Tana Nicely is the principal of South Knox Elementary, and she's going to introduce our outstanding elementary educator of the year.
I would be remiss if I didn't say thank you all to the Rotary Club for your staying on education and your support, and particularly for South Knoxville Elementary. Your continued support over the years has helped to grow our gardens around the campus and provide murals. So thank you, Rotary Club, for your support of my school. But it's my pleasure and my distinct honor to bring forward to you a superstar. I mean, we have Michael Jordan, we have LeBron James. But I really think of South Knoxville and even of Knoxville, we have a teacher, a 4th grade teacher, that's heart and soul for kids. The timeless hours that she spends, and I'm just going to tell you, she's taught 28 years. She's taught college students at the adjunct level all the way down to babies. This lady is a cancer survivor. She's a fighter. She fights for her kids. She fights for me even. And I am so honored and privileged to bring forth Ms. Susan Parker.
Well, this is a bit intimidating, I have to say. I've been in front of 4th graders all day long and don't bat an eye, but so I'm just going to pretend like you guys are 8 and 9 years old. Yeah. But thank you so much for this distinct honor. It means so much. When I found out the Friday afternoon, I was so excited. I couldn't wait to get home, share the information with my family, and I know that I smiled all weekend. So you really just made my day and actually my year. We don't do this job to be recognized, but when you do, it feels good that somebody maybe noticed a little bit of what you're doing. And so I really appreciate that. I've never received an award of this magnitude, so I really appreciate that. The hugs and the I love you letters from the students, those are amazing too, and that's why we do the job that we do. So it really truly means a lot. I also want to thank my principal. She gives me lots of opportunities to shine and to be a leader in our school. I'm sorry, my voice quivers when I get nervous. I apologize for that. And she's so supportive, but not just of me, but also of our community, of our school, of our parents, of our teachers and students. And you can just ask anyone. She is so well loved, and we feel so blessed to have her. So thank you so much. I was thinking last night as I was going over this when I began this career about 28 years ago, and I was a stay-at-home mom with my children, and a position came up at a private Christian's, and they needed someone to fill the position, and we had a mutual friend, and they called me in for an interview, and they said, we hear that you give the best children's birthday parties, that getting invited to one of your child's birthday parties is like the golden ticket. I never knew that doing a birthday party would be a resume builder. That was my ticket in. But over the years, I have learned and I've grown from that school and then felt called to go into public school. And each year, every experience has just built me into the teacher that I've become. And so as I've gone and I've learned, there's certain things that I find that are very important for a classroom. One of them is the environment. And of course, you want to have a very loving and caring environment, but you also want to have a highly structured environment. I find that the children do very well if they know what's expected of them and how to perform to those expectations. There's a comfort in that. They feel safe. So sometimes the freeness that we feel like a lot of people want, they don't. They kind of like that structure. They like the fairness that it brings. I also like to have high expectations of my students. In my mind, I always say, you can and you will. And I structure that for the students to understand when they walk through the door that they're expected to do the very best that they can do always. It's really kind of strange when you teach 3rd and 4th grade that they have a lot of students who have not been very successful have already started to give up. And so you have to teach them that they don't have to give up and they can find a pathway into learning. And I've had great success with that. I am not above giving your paper back and saying, no, this is not your best. I won't take this. I'm really big on giving you a chance to redo your work. I want to know, did you understand it? Or do I need to reteach something to you? Do I need to find another way for you to learn that information? And so those have been very helpful for me and have been very successful, not just for me, but for my children. A good, strong education is a benefit for everybody, but for some of our children, it's a game changer. It means the difference of continuing in a cycle that is seen with their parents or breaking that cycle. And that's a weight that I carry with me. It's very important that I help these children succeed. And I only have 1 year to do that, to change the trajectory and the path of it. And so just when you think, oh my gosh, this is too much, it's not going to happen this year, you start hearing, I used to be bad at math, but now I'm really good. Or I used to be bad at reading, but I'm really good at reading now. And I said, you've always been good at it, honey. You just didn't realize it. You just needed that little extra push. Right now, we're getting ready for our TCAP testing, and the students are like, oh my gosh, I made my goal. Or even better yet, I exceeded my goal. The little girl, Marley, she just cracks me up. She is very bright, but she doesn't believe in herself. And she's been so excited to come and bring me her scores because we can do them on the computer. And she goes, look how good it did. I'm so surprised. And I said, Marley, honey, you're the only one that's surprised. I've always knew that you did this. She's so cute. So then you know, when you start hearing those, when you start getting those signs, that you change their mindset and they become active learners. They're participating in their learning. They realize that they have a choice and that they can make a difference by putting in effort. And all I had to do was believe in them and push them and maybe make them do a little bit more. But, so anyway, all of this makes up my year. Sometimes you're teaching things that you don't even know you're teaching. I've had a couple of experiences where it happened this week. I was doing a really great lesson and I was really making a difference. They all seemed engaged. And I said, do you have any questions? And so the little girl in my class recognized me. She goes, yeah, where do you get all your scars? One of the girls like, yeah, I was wondering that too. So my favorite one was meeting with a couple of parents. This happened a few years ago, and the dad looked at me and goes, I really don't know about her math and her reading, but I will tell you that every afternoon we get a demonstration on how you put your lipstick on after lunch. She's got that down pat, and we spend a lot of money on lip gloss. So those are some of the precious things that you take with you. You put them in your heart. You never forget them. And at the end of the year, when they leave my room, they leave with a piece of my heart. So, anyway, but this happens all over Knox County every year, not just in my classroom. I teach every day with amazing teachers and stand shoulder to shoulder with them. And they all make a difference. I know because I get their children and I get to see what they do. And so all of them are deserving of this award. I appreciate you giving this gift, not only to me, but for those that have received it in the past and for those that will receive it in the future. It really has just made a huge difference and makes me want to just pour more into the children. So thank you very much.
Clearly, she can have a teacher, a child will remember their whole life. So thank you for that. So now we have a couple of things for you. I want you to present that to her on behalf of the Rotary Club, your plaque. Which you hang in your classroom. So Rob, A&W Office Supply always gives a gift certificate, so there's a teacher. And then I saved the check for me, the former banker. This is a check for you, made out to you.
Thank you so much.
Your check, Rob.
And the gift card, yeah.
Each year, A&W Supply likes to donate some supplies to the teachers of the award recipients. And so Susan will be receiving $275 that she can apply toward supplies for her classroom. So
Excellent.
Next up, be a hard act to follow, but I'm sure we will. I want to invite Tammy Campbell to come up. Tammy is the principal of Austin East High School, and she will introduce our secondary education honoree.
Hello, and thank you all so much for all that you continue to do in our community in Knoxville, and particularly in our East Knoxville community. I am the proud principal at Austin East Magnet High School, and it is my distinct honor and pleasure to introduce one of what I believe is one of the best teachers in the world, and for sure, an outstanding teacher. And that is none other than our own Miss Gakila Smith. We know her and affectionately call her Miss Guy. And I just want to share just a few things about Miss Guy. Miss Guy is truly a champion for education. She is a graduate of Austin East, as so am I. And I BB. And anytime, what I believe is, as a product of Austin East, our address is called 2800, and we often coin the phrase that we are proud to be 2800 made. And it is always a blessing and a privilege to be able to come back and be on divine assignment, to come back and serve the generations that are there and that are future to come. And so Miss Sky is one of our English teachers, and Miss Sky not only teaches English 1, but she also teaches advanced creative writing, honors classes, and also her visual literacy class. And one of the things that Miss Sky is very passionate about, and she does not let up at all, and we appreciate that, is she really pushes our students to get comfortable with engaging with the content, but also interacting with very rich discussion and making sure that they know how to powerfully express their ideas through writing and authentically owning and excelling in their learning experience. And so Ms. Scott also, I think, and I'm sure will share more of her own story, but one of the things that for me was very, I guess, special and inspiring. A few years ago, I was actually at the district level in an ombudsman role, and I had been before I went to the district level, I had been at Austin East as an assistant principal and as a counselor. Sky was not teaching there at the time, but I remember we were at a board meeting, and during budget time, which those are pretty exciting. It was one of those late meetings, kind of like last night. But I remember meeting Miss Sky for the first time outside of that city county building. And she told me at the time, she said, I am an English teacher, and I'm, thank you for what you do, but I am going to come back to, I would love to come back to Austin East and be able to serve and teach English there. And I said, you know what, you hang in there at UT. And I said, I'm going to see you, hopefully to see you on the other side. Little did I know I would be the principal there last year. And she was already on staff doing a phenomenal job. And so we need people like Ms. Sky in our schools, because for our community, we know and we recognize that education is the great equalizer. And as I say all the time, we don't get a do-over with our children. If we don't educate them, equip them, and empower them for life, they will not get it anywhere else. And so I am so appreciative and so proud of Ms. Scott because she truly embodies our school mission, which is that we educate, equip, and empower our kids to achieve academically, to thrive socially, to dream limitlessly, and to serve their community with passion and pride. And so I'm going to present to you what I believe is the most outstanding teacher in the world, Ms. Scott Smith.
Oh my gosh. Good afternoon, beautiful people. Miss Susan, you are amazing. Thank you for 28 years of service. That's powerful. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Miss Sky, and it is truly an honor to share this moment in this space with each one of you in the light of education. My background is totally different than Miss Susan. I have only been teaching for about 5 years now, but I have taught a lifetime. A little bit about myself. I grew up in the Lonsdale housing community, and it was really challenging to rise above certain situations in order to be able to thrive and just not survive. After suffering the loss of my children's father and becoming a single parent at the age of 21, I was in survival mode for about 17 years before the pathway opened up for me to return to college the same year that my youngest child, my son, would enter into high school. Going back to be an example of everything that I had taught them, because we all know that children don't always do what we say, but they will mirror what they see. So I believed that education, and especially literature, is equipment for living. And that helped me decide which pathway that I would pursue. After having a long discussion with my adult daughters and my high school son, they got to decide if I would become an attorney or an educator. And in the words of my son, "You have to teach, Mom. Kids need somebody like you." So that was powerful for me. I had once read that if your dream only includes you, it is way too small. So taking that into consideration, sharing the aspirations of many of the educators that I have had the privilege to learn under and serve with, our dreams usually encompass each student that we encounter. We go home with them on our hearts and minds. We're never off, and you guys know we don't get paid overtime. So we have to really feel good about what we do every single day. The way that we do things in education, as far as educator to educator, will look different upon you coming into whatever education classroom that you enter into. At Austin East Magnet High School, the demographics are a lot different than most demographics of our high school. And I know because I put 3 children through high school, and I'm working on my 3 children now. I have my baby here with me this afternoon, Mr. Jones, in order that she understands that education is the bridge over that divides us. So considering Maslow's hierarchy of needs, there are certain things that must be met in order for kids' education and acquisition of knowledge to not be impeded. A lot of times those things look like hunger. They look like feeling safe. They look like vital necessities being met, such as clothes and shoes. These are the things that you have to have a very observant eye in order to take care of, because our expectations for their performance does not go down. We have to demand that they rise above every set occasion, and we have to provide a platform in which they are able to do so. So social and emotional pedagogy is in the forefront of every lesson plan at Austin East Magnet High School. I am an unorthodox teacher. I do things that may not look like what teaching looks like for some people. So I'm extremely, extremely grateful to serve under Ms. Tammy Campbell. I'm extremely grateful for the educators that I serve beside, because they understand Ms. Scott above and beyond. Education for me involves the cultivation of the entire human being. With that being said, educators are tasked with the cultivation of the next generation, and I take that seriously. That is the reason why I put my life and my financial standing of an educator on the line. When my students heard that I would be awarded, they were livid. They were all laid out. Miss Scott, Miss Scott, Miss Scott. But once they heard that there was a cash check, they knew that it would be spent on them. They knew it would be spent on them. Therefore, this afternoon, I'm just extremely grateful. I'm empowered for the support of Austin East Magnet High School and my colleagues. I'm extremely, extremely grateful for the Knoxville community who encourages and supports me. And I am extremely grateful for the Rotary Club of Knoxville. I am a young woman with a background that can wholeheartedly say, I should not be here. I should not be here. All of the challenges that I had to rise above give me an understanding of what is necessary in the classroom in order that students not only survive, but they thrive and they come back and they're empowered to serve in the Knoxville community. A lot of times you see educators bounce from school to school, county to county, and it's a revolving door, but people like you supporting educators will ensure that we stay and we serve this community with our whole hearts and our minds. I thank you so, so very much for everything. Thank you.
Ms. Scott, congratulations. It's $275 from A&W Go Road Runners.
Thank you. What? Gosh, thank you guys so much. It matches that blue and that red at Austin East. Thank you. Because beef, beef and raw runner country means we love you. Thank you, Paul.
So you can go back to school with your check and receive it.
I'm gonna ask immediately, where is the cash?
So thank you very much.
Thank you.
This is very important. So we hear a lot of important people who speak to us. This is my favorite program we ever had, because these are the most important people in our community that are talking to us. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. I watched them understand, like, great, I get it. I couldn't do it. That's why I went in thanking. Thank you very, very much. We appreciate it.